Hello students, this tutorial is useful for all the students who are studying in class 7 having CBSE syllabus. All the examples and exercises are from mathematics textbook for class 7th prepared by National Council of Educational Research and Training. Today let us go ahead and study algebraic expressions. Now before looking into algebraic expressions, let us quickly go through what do we mean by equation. Equation is a statement of equality between two expressions consisting of variables and or numbers. An equation states that two quantities are equal. Now this means that the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the equals sign are equivalent and the balance. Take for example, if I write 7 is equal to 7. Now this is an equation. It is a statement of equality because in between we have equal to sign. It consists of numbers. There are two numbers. You have 7 as one number and 7 as another number. Now this is the left hand side of the equation and this is the right hand side of the equation, right? And this means that the left hand side and the right hand side of the equal sign are equivalent. So 7 is equal to 7. Now suppose if I write x is equal to 7. What does this mean? In this case, we have equality sign. We also have the left hand side and the right hand side of the equation. But only thing is this, whereas in this first example, both these were numbers, whereas in case of the second example, we have one variable, an unknown variable, and then we have a number. Okay? So in this case, we say that the value of x is 7. Now this x is equal, so 7 is equal to 7 and x is equal to 7. Both are called as equations. Okay, I hope this is understood. We can go ahead. The equation may contain an unknown quantity that we wish to find. Now I told you now x is a variable over here. So we do have a variable over here x. Suppose in case if I write y plus 3 is equal to 5. Now in this case also we have expressions, we have equation, and here the left hand side of the equation are made up of two terms. One, we have a y, which is an unknown variable. Then we have 3, which is a number, and then we also have 5, which is a number. Now, why do you say this? When we say y, that means y can take a value. Okay, so the equation may contain an unknown quantity that we wish to find. An unknown quantity that we wish to find. Take for example, if I write a plus 8 is equal to 10, or in case if I write 5x plus 30 equal to 50. Now in both these cases, this is a simple equation and then there are unknown quantity. In this case, a is an unknown quantity and that's why it's called as a variable. In this case, we have x, okay, which is an unknown quantity. So the equation may contain an unknown quantity that we wish to find. Moving ahead, we will talk about a variable. Taking the example, let me take the same example forward. Let me put a plus 8 is equal to 10. Now this particular equation is made up of a variable, that is a, okay, a variable, and it is also made up of a number. on the right hand side, and on the left, sorry, on the left hand side, and on the right hand side also you have a number, right? Now when we talk in terms of these numbers, that is 8 and 10, both these are constant. Both these are constant and has a fixed value. What do you mean by fixed value? 8 is equal to 8. You cannot change what the value of 8 is. Similarly, 10 is equal to 10. There is no question of changing the value of 10. 10 cannot be 9. Right? So when we say 8, that means it is 8. When we say 10, it means it is 10. It cannot be anything lesser than 10, neither it can be more than 10. But what in terms of A? Now A can take a value. Okay, so a variable can take various values. Its value is not fixed, but a constant has a fixed value. So in an equation, we can have a constant and we can have a variable. When it comes to constant, the value is fixed, whereas in case of a variable, it can take various values. Now, when we say various values, what in case if I write, let us take A is equal to 2. Okay, A is equal to 2. So if in case if we take A is equal to 2, then in the equation it will be 2 plus 8 is equal to 10. Then when we add, both left hand side and the right hand side will be equal. Okay, that means to say in this case the value of the variable is 2. Okay, just as a recap as to what we did, equation is a statement of equality between two expressions consisting of variables and or numbers. An equation states that two quantities are equal. This means that the left hand side and the right hand side of the equals sign are equivalent and they balance. So 7 is equal to 7, x is equal to 7, 10 is equal to 10, 5 is equal to 5, a is equal to 10, s is equal to 35, p is equal to 36, right? So all these are termed as equations where you have a left hand side and a right hand side separated by the equal to sign. Moving ahead, we also saw that the equation may contain an unknown quantity that we wish to find. Usually this unknown quantity will always be expressed in terms of letters. Okay, it will be in terms of letters A, B, C, D up to Z. Okay, and we also have constants. So a variable can take various values. Its value is not fixed, but constant has got a fixed value. So numerical value is constant, whereas the letters that are denoted by, let us say, A, B, C, D, anything to Z turns out to be a variable. And it does not have a fixed value. We assign a value, or we can find the value of a particular variable. Algebraic expression is equal to variables plus constants plus basic arithmetic operations. So in case if I write 4a plus 3 is equal to 15. Okay, so what do we have? So we have, this is an equation. Why do you call it as an equation? Because we have a left hand side and then we have a right hand side. So this is the left hand side of the equation, and then we have on the right hand side we have 15, and both left hand side should be equal to right hand side. Now this is an equation. Now when we are looking into an algebraic expression, let me write it over here. So if I'm taking 4a plus 3, now in this case 4 is a constant. Okay, a is a variable. We have plus which is a basic arithmetic operation. And we have 3, which is again, if we are looking into an algebraic expression, what are the things that has to be there in algebraic expressions? We should have variables, right? We should have constants, and we should have a basic arithmetic operation. Like for example, in case if I write 10p plus q is equal to 100. Okay, so we have constants in the form of 10 and 100, right? We have variables in the form of p and q, and we have a basic arithmetic operation. Now it need not always be plus. I can also write 10p minus 5 is equal to 30. Okay, so here the arithmetic sign turns out, the basic arithmetic operation will be subtract. Likewise, I can also write a divided by 5 is equal to 3. Or the basic operation is division. In this case, it is division. So I can also write a divided by 5 is equal to 3. Okay. More so, I can also write a into 5 is equal to 100. So we do have, in this case also, we have a variable, we have constants, and then we have an arithmetic operation, basic arithmetic operation. So what is algebraic expression made up of? It is made up of variables plus constants and basic arithmetic operation. I hope this part is clear. Moving ahead, let us talk in terms of terms. Now, what is a term? Parts of an expression which are formed separately first and then added are known as terms. I repeat, parts of an expression. We already looked into what an expression is, which is formed separately first and then added are known as terms. So expressions are made up of terms. Okay, it can be 1 term, 2 term, 3 terms, 4 terms, 5 terms, right? And then what is a term? It is a product of its factors. We'll look at this second one a little later. We will go back to the terms. So parts of an expression which are formed separately first and then added are known as terms. Now say suppose if in case if I write 4x squared plus 3xy. Now this particular expression, okay, has got 2 terms. So we have 4x squared, okay. This is the first term. And then we have 3xy, okay, which is the second term. That means to say in this expression, we have 2 terms. First term is 4x squared, okay? And then the second expression is plus 3xy. Now, how do we find out, how do we come up to 4x squared? Coming back to the second one where I said term is equal to product of its factors. That means to say which are the factors over here. 4 is a factor. And how many x? There are 2x. X into x makes up x squared. So these are the factors of the term 4x squared. Likewise, when it comes to plus 3xy, we have plus 3 into x into y. Let me repeat. When we are talking about this particular expression 4x squared plus 3xy, so I'm talking about this particular expression 4x squared plus 3xy. It has got 2 terms. The first term is 4x squared and the second term is 3xy. and each of these terms are individually first written. It is not written, it is formed. Individual, it is formed. Okay, so when we say 4x squared, it is made up of 4 into x into x. 4 into x makes 4x squared. 3 into x into y makes 3xy. So each term has got its factor. So what I've written over here is nothing but product of the factors of each of the term. Okay, so once I find out the factors and then I add it. So each term is product of its factors. And how do you create an expression? First term, when we over here, parts of an expression which are formed separately. So we are forming 4x squared separately, 3xy separately, and then we add 4x squared plus 3xy. Now this is what is called as a term. Sorry, this is what is called as 4x squared plus 3x squared. Okay, let me repeat. So you have parts of an expression which are formed separately first and then added. Now those are called as terms. So expressions are not nothing but adding terms. However much, how many other terms you want, you can add. It can be, one term, two terms, three terms, four terms, five terms, any number of terms, you add it. So what is a term? It is nothing but product of its factors. So if in case if I want to write, let me put it over here. So if in case if I want to write 10a to the power 3, b to the power 2, c to the power 2. Now this is one term. This whole thing is one term. And what is it made up of? It is made up of its factors. So what are its factors? 10 into a cube is a into a into a into b because we have b square over there, and then we have c into c. So all these are nothing but, okay, all these are factors of the term, factors of the term 10a cubed b to the power square, b to the power 2 and c to the power 2, or 10 in 10a cubed b square c square. Okay, so moving on, we will go ahead and look into the tree diagram. Okay, let us look into the tree diagram. Okay, I think I missed one part over here. Let me go back over here. Now there might come a question when we are looking into here, we always say and then add it as, and then add it, right? The word added. Now when I say added, there can also be a minus sign. It is not always adding. Like for example, if in case if I will take up the same term 4x squared plus 3x squared, but instead of plus, I will write it as minus. So suppose in case if I say 4x squared minus 3xy, in this case there are two terms, right? So which is the two terms? The first term is 4x squared, and the second term is, now there is a sign over here minus, that means 3, it is not plus 3, it is minus 3. So we have minus 3xy, and then what do? We add these both. So we add these two terms. Now what happens when we are adding these two terms? It will be 4x squared plus minus 3xy. Okay, so that turns out to be 4x squared. Plus into minus is minus. It's the basic algebraic operations which we will study. Not to worry. So we have 4x squared minus 3xy. But basically what we are doing, as per the definition, we are adding these two terms. Only thing is, in the previous case, when I've put it over here, okay, when I put it over here, this 3 had a plus sign, but now we have a minus sign. Okay, let us learn tree diagram. Now, whatever things that we studied about expressions, we also looked into what a term is, we also saw what factors are. We can put it in the form of a tree diagram. So let me put it over here. So if in case if I write 4x squared minus 3xy, what have I written? I have written an expression over here. And this is a two-term expression because there are two terms in this. Which are the two terms that we have written over here in this expression? We have one term is 4x squared and the other term is minus 3xy. What are these? These are nothing but terms. And how many terms are there in this expression? There are two terms, 4x squared and minus 3x. Now what are minus 3xy? Now what are terms made up of? Terms are made up of the product of the factors. So which are the factors of 4x squared, of the term 4x squared? 4 into x into x. And what are the factors of the term minus 3xy? We have minus 3x and y. What have we written over here? When we what we have written over here? We have written the factors. We have written the factors, right? Now this expression is an expression with two terms. It is not always required that you have a two-term expression. We can also have a three-term expression. And how does it look if in case if I have one more expression? Let us say if I have plus 10x y squared. Then I have one more expression, one more term, which is nothing but plus 10x y square. And what is it made up of? What are its factors? We have plus 10, we have x and y square. So y into y. This is how you draw a tree diagram. You can also add one more expression over one more term over here. So it can be, as I told you before, expression is made up of different terms, and it can be two terms, one term, three terms, four terms, five terms, any number of terms. Okay, and each term you find out the product of its factors and then you add all those terms. Okay, so when we are adding those terms, we get the expression. So we get 4x squared plus minus 3xy plus 10xy squared. So when we are adding all these terms, which are nothing but the factors, then we get the expression. Okay, I hope this is understood. And how now there is plus and minus sign over here, so we can do it. We can rewrite it in terms of 4x squared. Plus into minus is minus 3xy and plus 10xy squared. This is the expression. Okay, let's go ahead and look into the coefficient. The factor is said to be the coefficient of the term. So let me take the same example. We looked into 4x squared. Was that? Yeah, 4x squared. The first term of the previous expression, 4x squared. What are its factors? What are its factors? Factors are 4 into x into x. Okay, so the factor is said to be the coefficient of the term. Okay, and what is a numerical coefficient? The numerical factor out of this 4 into x, these are all the factors. Out of this, 4 is a numerical factor. So the numerical factor is said to be the numerical coefficient of the term. Let me write it over here. So if in case if I'm taking 4x squared, then 4 is the numerical coefficient, right? 4 is the numerical coefficient, and then we have x, which is not numerical, it's a non-numerical. So x is also a coefficient. We have x squared, so there are 2x. Okay? So x is also the coefficient. So the factor, so what are 4, x and x? These are the factors. So the factor is said to be the coefficient of the term. The numerical factor is nothing but the numerical coefficient of the term. Since suppose if in case if I write over here 5xy, how will I write? xyz. Then 5 in this term, 5 is the numerical coefficient, right? And then we have x, which is also a coefficient, right? Then we also have y, which is also the coefficient. And then we have z, the coefficient. And what are these 5xyz? These are the factors of the term 5xyz. Okay, so coefficient of the term, the factor is said to be the coefficient of the term, and the number factor, the numerical factor, is called as the numerical coefficient of the term. Okay, I hope this is clear now. What are like terms? When terms have same algebraic factors, then they are like terms. We are not talking about numerical factors. And when the terms have different algebraic factors, then they are unlike terms. So I will write an equation, I will write an expression with, let us say, 4 terms. So 2xy minus 3x plus 5xy minus 4. Now, in this particular expression, we will look into the like terms and the unlike terms. Now, when we are looking into the like terms, whether a term is a like term or an unlike term is based on the variables, okay, unknown variables, and not the constant. We will not look into the numerical factor. Okay, we will not look into the numerical factor. We will be only looking into the variables. Okay, now if you look carefully, you have xy over here, and then we have xy over here. Okay, whereas over here you have only x, y is not there. So which are the terms over here? We have 2xy, we have minus 3x, we have plus 5xy, and we have minus 4. In this particular expression, 2xy and 5xy are like terms. Why are they like terms? Because their variables are the same. We are not bothered about the number. It can be 2xy, it can be 10xy, it can be 20xy, it can be 5xy, any number. We are looking only into the variables. Now, minus 3x, okay, is not a like term with the other two terms. Okay, so minus 3x and minus 4. Okay, it can be called as unlike terms. Why unlike terms? Because you have 3x and here it is only 4. Okay, again, we don't look into the signs, we don't look into the numbers. Signs and numbers doesn't matter to find out whether a term in an expression falls under the category of like terms or unlike terms. Let me simplify this a little bit more. So 2xy and 5xy both have xy. As such, they are like terms. 2xy, so I'm taking this 2xy and 3x. 2xy and minus 3x. What are these? Like or unlike? Here it is xy and here it is only x. There is no y. As such, these are unlike terms. We don't look into the numbers. Okay. Now say suppose if I go ahead and write, if I write 5xy, okay, and minus 4. These are unlike terms. These are unlike terms. If I go ahead and write minus 3x and plus 5xy. These are again unlike terms. That means to say this particular expression 2xy minus 3x plus 5xy minus 4 has only one pair of like terms, that is 2xy and 5xy, whereas the other two turns out to be unlike terms. Okay, so that's how you differentiate between a like term and an unlike term. Let me give you one more example. I'll give you one more example. I'll write a lengthy expression, okay, with let us say 6 terms. So 2x square plus 3ab plus 4b square plus 5x square plus 10ba plus let us say 4y 8y. Okay, and then I will also write one more expression and one more term. Let me put it as 6b square. So which are the like terms in this particular expression? So which are the like terms? We have over here, you have x square. Here it is just ab, here it is b square. You have x square here as well. So the like terms are 2x square plus 5x square. Doesn't matter, signs as well as the numbers should not be taken into consideration. Then are there any other like terms? We also have b square over here and square over here. But before that, you have 3ab over here plus 3ab and then you have 10ba. Now, how do you write 10ba? 10 into b into a. Whether you write it as 10ba or whether you write it as 10 into a into b does not make a difference. Okay, and how is 3ab? What is 3ab? It is 3 into a into b. So the second pair of like terms are 3ab plus 10ba. ba can also be written as ab. Okay, it doesn't make a difference. Whether you write 2 into 3 or whether you write 3 into 2, the uh, the way in which you write it doesn't make a difference. I'm sorry, I'm missing uh, the word over here. The So which letter you write first, which number you write first and which number you write second doesn't make a difference. The order, that's the right word. So here you have 2 into 3, it will be 6. 3 into 2 is also 6. Okay, both are the value will turn out to be the same. The order will not make a difference. Likewise, whether it is A into B, that becomes AB, or whether it is B into A, which is also AB or BA, doesn't make a difference. Both these are same. Okay, so these two are like terms. Do you have one more like term? Here you have 4b square and you have 6b square. So as such, 4b square and 6b square are also like terms. All these three pairs are like terms. Whereas when it comes to 8y, it does not have uh, any other term. We don't have any other term with just y. Okay. Can we come up with unlike terms? So what are the unlike terms in this case? So in this case, we have unlike terms. We can write 2x squared and okay, here I should be putting a comma. Okay, two terms. So 2x squared and 3ab are unlike terms because one have the factor 2 into x, whereas the other has got a factor of 3 into a into b, right? Now, which other unlike terms can we write? We can also write 3ab and 4b square. These are unlike terms. We can also go ahead and write 3ab and 5x square, unlike terms, right? We can also write 10ba and 8y. So 10ba and 8y are also unlike terms. Are there any other unlike terms that we can write? Definitely yes. Okay, we also have 8y and 6b square unlike terms. You can write even, all the terms. You can write 2x square, 3ab, 4b square, 8y. All these are unlike terms. Okay, so I hope you understood the difference between like terms and unlike terms. When it comes to like terms, we are ignoring the numbers and we are ignoring the signs. It doesn't make a difference. We are looking only into the variables. The variables have to be the same. Okay, whereas in case of unlike terms, or if the variables are different, then it is called as unlike terms. Let us go ahead and now look into the monomials, binomial, and trinomial. So, what is monomial? If the expression has one term, then it is a monomial. So, if I write 7xy, it is one term. Suppose if I write minus 5m, it is only one term, right? Suppose if I write a square, one term. Suppose if I write minus x to the power 4, one term. Similar way, when we are looking into binomials, now these are having bi, that means two terms. Remember, these two terms should be unlike. Okay, now if I write x plus y, I have two terms. Okay, as such it is a binomial. Suppose if I write minus m minus 5, it's a binomial. Suppose if I write mn plus 4m, it is also a binomial. Suppose if I write a square plus b square, binomial. Remember here the terms have to be unlike terms. X and y unlike. M, and this is just minus 5, unlike. mn and 4m only. It is not mn. If in case if I write 4mn, then it is not a binomial. It becomes a monomial. Why it will become a monomial? Let me put it over here. mn plus 4mn. So if I'm adding, I can add this because these are like terms. Like terms can be added. Unlike terms cannot be added. So 1mn plus 4mn will turn out to be 5mn, which comes up to be a monomial. When you're simplifying further, it becomes a monomial. That's the reason why this particular word is more important. Now it has to be unlike terms. Same is the case with trinomial, unlike terms. Tri means 3, bi means 2, mono means 1. Okay, so and all these terms have to be unlike terms. So in case if I write AB plus A plus 6B is a trinomial. Remember here you have, if there is no number, that means it is 1. Remember that in math. Sorry, in algebra. Okay, you have 1x, you have 1y, this is 1m, this is 1a square, this is 1x to the power 4, this is 1a square, this is 1b square. So if there are no number, I mean if there is no number, that means it is 1, right? So here you have ab, here you have a, here it is b. So three unlike terms. Suppose if I write 3x squared minus 5x minus 2, this is a trinomial. Okay, suppose if I write minus x plus y minus z, this also is a trinomial. So if there are 3 terms, it is called as a trinomial. If it is 2 terms, it is called as a binomial. And if there is only 1 term in the expression, then it is called as a monomial expression. Now remember one thing, if there are one or more than one terms in an expression, then it is called as polynomial expressions. So don't get confused with polynomials. Polynomials are made up of one or more than one term. That means to say all these monomials, binomial and trinomial, they all together are called as polynomials. Okay, these are called as polynomials. I guess more or less we have completed the topics that are required for the basics, for understanding the basics of algebraic expressions. Um, with that, I'll conclude with this particular video. In the next video, we will go ahead and solve the problems that is been given in mathematics textbook, which is prepared by the NCERT. With that note, I'll end this video. Thank you, students, and have a nice learning experience. See you all in the next video.